delay is less or maybe delay come at a higher level. So this variation we also work to reduce, to bring down this band and enhancing the reliability. So this is the third. So there are the three key objectives of this conclave, and I am damn sure that we all work together and will certainly, finally we would be able to achieve this task, which is not very critical. It requires certain willpower, it requires certain teamwork, it requires dedication and commitment from each one of not only us but also our colleagues at the respective locations. So this is what the basic agenda of this conclave, and certainly we all should be thankful to Mr. Pankaj Malhan, who has conceptualized this conclave and took initiative that we should have it, and now because of that we are here, and certainly this conclave would be a great success. There is no doubt about it. So we should work closely, we should interact and put our best effort to learn here. Now we will show every location will present their good practices as well as the area of concerns or area of opportunity for improvement. So we need to learn from the good practices or best practices. At the same time, we should also share our thoughts on the areas where the opportunity exists for improvement at respective locations. So when we will interact, we will extend our thoughts, we will share our knowledge. Certainly we would be able to provide the solution, if not for all, for certain area of concerns, opportunity for improvement, the location has come with. So this is the agenda. Now, as already told, that this program, especially the basic starting sessions, would be live. So my humble request would be that either you switch off or keep your mobile phones in silent, so that this conclave can function smoothly. Everyone is having an itinerary in their folders, and we will try to adhere the sequence of the program. If any doubt, certainly we can deviate, but we will not try to deviate it. We will try to adhere it, so that on time and with the same pace we can move on. Now, as already shared, that at 10:30 Mr. G.S. Rathore will join, and then will be followed by Mr. Sarad Mahendra at 10:45. After that, the contest of the conclave will be set right by Mr. Pankaj Malhan, so that we can move on to the content and the things that has already been planned. So this is the agenda of this conclave. I would request to Mr. Rajesh if he can throw some light before Mr. Rathore go on live.
Everyone, thank you, MP. So, first of all, I must congratulate each one of you for making it happen. Big thanks and congratulations to MP Gupta for arranging everything. I could see that people are very eager to start the session, and while MP has already explained you the benefits and expectations that we are actually looking at this from this conclave. But one thing is sure, what he has rightly pointed out, that although we are doing the same thing in all locations, there are a wide variation of practices, procedures being followed in each location, which needs to be standardized. We felt the necessity of such conclave, of course, long back, but because of many reasons, this could not happen. Big thanks goes to Malan sir, who actually, this conclave is actually a brainchild of him, and we must thank him. I would only request that please be participative, please be interactive. every location might have come with some excellent ideas, some excellent procedures and SOPs that they are following there. So let us see how best we can utilize that in other locations. And the overall idea has to be that the upkeep of our equipment, the upkeep of our plant, and the availability of the plant should be enhanced, so that every day by day, the business plan that we are actually planning every quarter, every year is actually challenging, and we always believe in stretch targets. So to achieve such stretch targets, it's very important that maintenance team support the production team, and maintenance team actually makes the equipment available for production. That's very important. So keeping all this in mind, I once again thank you all for being here. Again, I request you all, please be participating, be interactive, and I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rajesh ji. As you all know, Mr. Rajesh is heading washing plant, and because the event is being organized at this location, so we have the privilege to visit the plant as well. So those especially who are coming from other locations and who have not visited the plant, certainly this is part of the agenda as well, that we can plan the desired area to have a plant visit, keeping all safety norms complied, so that nothing should go wrong. And we can see, because the most of the part of the plant is new now, recently commissioned and working well. So it would be a great opportunity to all the participants to have a look and learn new things, what has been with reference to technology, with reference to process automation, and so on and so forth. Soon we would be having Mr. G.S. Rathore, who is COO of JSW Steel. I think everyone is aware of, and who has already headed Dolby, Anza, and the Salar earlier, and recently really come up as CEO. So soon we would be basically having with us virtually Mr. G.S. Rathore. After that, we would be having our CEO, Mr. Sarad Mahendra, to respond on the subject. This is it. So we need to wait for.
So we will wait for Mr. Rathore, right?
Yeah.
5 minutes before he joins.
Yeah.
Okay, I hope all of you are coming from far-flung locations.
Good morning, everyone. It's very nice to hear that there is a conclave on maintenance in Vasin. Vasin is my workplace, my birthplace rather. So it's nice to hear, and I'm told there are 9 location people. I hope they are mostly from downstream facility, including Vijayanagar. So it's a very nice idea. I must congratulate Mr. Pankaj Malan and the organizers who have done this. It's a very nice idea. In fact, I would like to share my experience when I took over as the Chief Operating Officer of JSW Steel, all the integrated steel plant, upstream particularly. I had also started this 3 months back only because I think that the talent which is available within JSW Steel is enormous. So, but only challenge here is we are not able to horizontally deploy the learnings because they are available in pockets, and it's a nice idea to start with this. In fact, in upstream we have started with 17 areas, 17 cluster of excellence we have formed, starting from blast furnace, steel melt shop, sinter plant, pellet plant, and you people have taken a maintenance to start with. I think it's a good idea, but I would request that this can be expanded further for technology, for automation, for digitalization, for safety, environment, and whatnot. For costing also, because in today's world, fit test will survive, and particularly for last 2 quarters, cost has been a challenging factor for all of us. So we must focus on cost, but you can start with maintenance and slowly expand this exercise to other functions. And now we have multiple equipments, like there are multiple PATCM, there are multiple CAL, multiple galvanizing lines, multiple batch annealing. So the talent available at Vijayanagar can be used at Vasin, Tarapur. Each one of you can share the best ideas, and please keep doing the benchmarking within the organization and outside the organization. Because lately I have been found that we always felt proud in JSW that because we don't have the luxury of iron ore mines and coal, but efficiency and taking quick decisiveness have been our forte and USP. But lately I see that the other organizations are catching up. We were recently benchmarking with Tata Steel. They are doing far better in environment, cleanliness, housekeeping, safety, they slag rate, particularly upstream, because I have been involved for last almost 10-12 years more in upstream than downstream, so I will naturally talk about more upstream. But we can all learn from each other, whether it is upstream or downstream. So the world is catching up with us, so probably it is at the right time. Again, I take this opportunity to compliment Mr. Pankaj Malan. Under his leadership, all of you are organizing such conclave, and please exchange the ideas among all of you and implement, and then have a follow-up. Most of the time we start these noble, I would say, ideas, but they die its own death. So please don't allow it. There should be a governing body which will have the timely reviews, and maybe the executive committee under you have operating committee, and then right up to the bottommost level people will should be involved. Because I was just, in fact, 2 of my central excellence team have represented in EC meeting, and from each one I could count and multiply, hundreds of ideas are coming. Vijayanagar is doing some SOPs which are not implemented at Bhushan Power, not implemented at Dolvi, and something being done at Dolvi, not implemented at Vijayanagar. If you simply benchmark, that itself will give you hundreds of ideas which can be implemented horizontally, and we can get benefits. So with this, all the best, and I hope that such exercise will continue to come, and our DNA have been being the fittest in the Indian steel industry will be maintained with these kind of ideas. Thank you, all the best. Thank you very much. No, sir.
Good morning, friends. We just heard Mr. Rathore talking about the objective of this 2 days workshop. First of all, a very warm welcome to everyone from all the locations to Vasind plant. Some of you may have been visiting after a long gap or for the first time. It's just to add that this is one of the best coated steel plant in the world. We have seen many plants here. You will take an opportunity, get an opportunity to take a round. And also this is now the largest single location plant for coated steel in the country. Vijayanagar was the first plant, the largest single location steel plant, and this is the largest single location coated steel plant now in the country with entire capacity of 2 million ton including CRCA. After the commissioning of Caroline, getting commissioned is a 2 million ton plant. In fact, I will also like to definitely congratulate and really it is commendable for like Pankaj Balan who has taken this initiative and having maintenance meet. This kind of meet I don't remember if in such a structured way we have had across the locations. Actually, we have certain strengths which we have, I think, we have been leveraging, but not to the extent we can. There are so many good practices happening individually in pockets across various locations and on various lines, various mills, but maybe exchange of ideas which was limited. I think this kind of platform will definitely help. And how important is this? I will tell you that why maintenance team. This team is, I will say, this is the backbone for the organization for JSW. Reason is that if you see that maybe some of you may not be aware of the number which we have, which is one of the largest in the world. If we total rolling mills, the coating lines, the tinning lines, color lines, everything, individual lines, we have a total number of 75 lines, which includes the mills, the coating lines, color lines, the tinning lines, everything. So you can understand, and also machines as old as maybe 30-year, 40-year-old, as old as the latest technology which is there today in the world with the commissionings in the last few years, the commissioning of PMDCM, the cal lines, the new color lines, and of course the new galvanizing and galvalume lines which we have commissioned. So I think it becomes very, very important to ensure the kind of challenge which I will say that you all have. I don't think that in the steel industry, anywhere in the world, this the kind of challenge which we possess because of the large capacity, large combination of mill line combinations, latest of the technology and the oldest of the technology which we have been maintaining and still running very successfully. So it becomes very challenging to ensure that the availability of the equipments is there, because today, ultimately, when I visit a plant, even if when I am on the line, I just talk to a worker also or a helper also and ask, what is you doing, what you are doing, आप किसके लिए काम कर रहे हो? तो हम सबको यही बोलते हैं कि हर एम्प्लॉय जो लाइन पे काम कर रहा है या मेंटेनेंस पे काम कर रहा है, कुछ है, अल्टीमेटली हम सब लोग एंड कस्टमर के लिए काम कर रहे हैं। जिस दिन हमारे को ये फीलिंग आ जाता है तो अपने काम में एक अपने आप एक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, एक जिम्मेदारी आती है कि अगर हमने ये कुछ गड़बड़ किया तो कस्टमर को गलत मटेरियल, खराब मटेरियल, डिफेक्टिव मटेरियल पहुंच सकता है। विद दिस काइंड ऑफ थॉट प्रोसेस एंड अप्रोच, आई थिंक आज जो हमारे पास में जो कस्टमर बेस है, एक सेटिस्फैक्शन लेवल है, वो हम लोग एक डेफिनेटली एक बहुत ही अच्छे लेवल पे आज पहुंच गए हैं कि कस्टमर लुक्स टुवर्ड्स JSW फॉर एनी ऑफ देयर स्टील रिक्वायरमेंट, और उसको मेंटेन करने के लिए आई फील कि ये टीम बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। हम लोग मेंटेनेंस का भी आप लोग सब जानते हो, हम ज़्यादा नहीं बोलेंगे, यू पीपल आर एक्सपर्ट इन योर लाइन, बट अगर हम मेंटेनेंस को देखें तो एक होता है कि हमने काफ़ी साल तक रिएक्टिव मेंटेनेंस पे काम किया कि कुछ प्रॉब्लम आया, कोई डिफेक्ट आया या लाइन डाउन हुई, हम इमीडिएटली रिएक्ट करें और हमने उसको ठीक कर दिया। देन वी वेंट टू द नेक्स्ट स्टेज इज द प्रिवेंटिव मेंटेनेंस। काफ़ी जगह पे हमने प्रिवेंटिव मेंटेनेंस, हम लोग के जब एनुअल बिजनेस प्लान बनते हैं, हम मेंटेनेंस शेड्यूल्स प्लान करते हैं, इररिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ लाइन चल रही है कि नहीं है, हम उस लाइन को डाउन करके प्रिवेंटिव मेंटेनेंस भी करते हैं। एंड आफ्टर दैट द नेक्स्ट स्टेज इज द प्रिवेंटिव मेंटेनेंस, कंडीशन बेस्ड मेंटेनेंस, कि हम वी कीप ऑन असेसिंग द लाइन। ठीक है, हमने प्रिवेंटिव मेंटेनेंस नहीं लिया है या कर भी लिया है, बट वी कीप असेसिंग। देयर आर लॉट मेनी सॉफ्टवेयर्स, काफी सिस्टम्स, आप लोगों की एक्सपर्टाइज इसमें काम आती है, और उसके बाद हम कंडीशन बेस्ड मेंटेनेंस करते हैं। बट नाउ आई थिंक मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट इज विच कवर्स ऑल द एस्पेक्ट्स, that reliability centered maintenance I feel is very, very important to ensure that my line is reliable. So I think all these factors put together, it becomes very important that we share the best practices. हम लोगों ने कुछ कोटेड स्टील के जो कुछ प्लांट्स हैं, आपस में हमने बेंचमार्किंग शुरू करी। कई जगह पे वी फाउंड दैट हमने कई पुराने एसेट्स कंपनीज को एक्वायर भी किया, लाइक एशियन कलर, VIL, VTPL, और तारापुर और VTPL का एक बहुत ही अच्छा केस स्टडी है कि तारापुर वाज न्यू इन टिनिंग, और जब उससे पहले हमने एक्सपीरियंस हमको मिल गया था फ्रॉम राजपुरा प्लांट ऑफ वल्लभ टिन प्लेट, और तारापुर की टीम ने बहुत क्लोजली काम किया VTPL के साथ, और आज ये सिचुएशन आ गई, एंड कीप ऑन एक्सचेंज, दे केप्ट ऑन एक्सचेंजिंग द लर्निंग्स, हमको कैसे करना है। और आज रिलायबिलिटी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से तारापुर में बहुत सी ऐसी प्रैक्टिसेस आ गई जो कि राजपुरा में इंप्लीमेंट करी गई, जो शुरू में हमने राजपुरा से हम यहाँ पे लाए थे। इसी तरह से एशियन कलर के प्लांट को जब हमने एक्वायर किया 2 लोकेशंस महाराष्ट्र में और हरियाणा में, तो वहाँ की टीम, वहाँ पे हमारी टीम्स गई, वहाँ की टीम्स हमारे यहाँ आई, और हम लोगों ने एक दूसरे के साथ में बेंचमार्किंग करके हमारे प्लांट्स ने भी वहाँ से सीखा, और वहाँ पे भी हमने अपनी कुछ अच्छी प्रैक्टिसेस को की। जब हमने इस तरह से बेंचमार्किंग करके वी सेड दैट वेयरएवर वी आर द बेस्ट, वी हैव टू हैव एवरीवेयर द सेम लोकेशंस। नाउ BPSL झारसुगुड़ा, BPSL कैलकाटा, हम लोग वहाँ पे भी हमारी कोटिंग लाइंस हैं और वहाँ की अपनी एक एक्सपर्टाइज है और एक रिलायबिलिटी है। तो आई थिंक वहाँ से भी हमारी लर्निंग्स आएंगी और जो भी हमारे BPHL से जितने भी कुलीग्स आए हैं, आई थिंक डेफिनेटली यहाँ की प्रैक्टिसेस को देखें और अपने एडवाइस, अपने सुझाव जरूर दें, क्योंकि अभी वो इंटरेक्शन उस BPHL के साथ में इस तरह से शुरुआत हुई नहीं। और इसके अलावा हमको ये देखना है कि जहाँ पे हम बेस्ट हैं, जब हम ये कर ले, नेक्स्ट स्टेप है तो पंकज बलान जी ने बोला भी था कि नाउ द नेक्स्ट स्टेप इज द ग्लोबल बेस्ट। एक हम आपस में जो हमारा बेस्ट है सारे प्लांट्स में हमने वो सब जगह इंप्लीमेंट किया, बट उस पर रुकना नहीं। उसके बाद में ग्लोबल बेंचमार्किंग कि जैसे अगर कोटेड स्टील में एक बड़ा रिस्पेक्टेड नेम है ब्लूस्कोप, तो सारे नॉर्म्स ब्लूस्कोप में क्या है, या अगर आर्सेलरमित्तल का ले यूरोप में, जिसका भी जो भी बेस्ट लाइंस है, बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस हैं, हमको उससे भी बेंचमार्क करना है और अपने को ये इंश्योर करना है कि हम ले, क्योंकि आज अगर आप देखो कि आप लोगों को एक चीज जान के खुशी होगी कि हिंदुस्तान में टोटल कैपेसिटी कोटेड स्टील की करीब 14.5 से 15 मिलियन टन की है, जिसमें सेकेंडरी प्रोड्यूसर्स भी आते हैं, और आज JSW की कैपेसिटी 7 मिलियन है। तो ऑलमोस्ट 50% कैपेसिटी हमारे पास है, JSW के पास है। और इंडिया का रिक्वायरमेंट अगर आज आप देखो तो इंडिया का रिक्वायरमेंट 7.5 से 8 मिलियन टन का है और कैपेसिटी 14.5 मिलियन टन की है। तो आज क्वालिटी, टाइमली डिलीवरी, कस्टमर के रिक्वायरमेंट्स के हिसाब से हमको नई चीजें, नए प्रोडक्ट्स लाना, सब चीज करना एक बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट है टू रिमेन अहेड। आज ऑलमोस्ट हिंदुस्तान का 50% मार्केट JSW केटर करता है, और अगर हमारी रिलायबिलिटी रही और अगर हमारे मशीन में कोई प्रॉब्लम आए और अगर हमारी अवेलेबिलिटी नहीं है, यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड कि कंट्री का रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं मीट हो पाएगा, क्योंकि काफी एक्सपेक्टेशन है हमको। और आने वाले टाइम में ये बिजनेस की ग्रोथ, नॉर्मल स्टील ग्रोथ जो हो रही है उससे ज्यादा, कहीं बहुत ज्यादा ग्रोथ हो रही है कोटेड स्टील डिमांड की, क्योंकि रूरल में बहुत कम कंजम्पशन है और जिस तरह से हो रहा है, तो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि हम अपने को कैसे रिलायबल रखें, अपने को इनोवेट करते रहें, न्यू प्रैक्टिसेस। आज डिजिटलाइजेशन, ऑटोमेशन का टाइम है, जो उसको हम कैसे और अपना लेवल बढ़ाएं इन टर्म्स ऑफ ऑटोमेशन एंड डिजिटलाइजेशन, जिससे कि हमको ये प्रैक्टिसेस मिले। आज मैं ये देखता हूँ, मेरे को एक दिन मिस्टर खेरा तारापुर में बता रहे थे कि हमारी जो ये लाइन है, ये इंटेलिजेंट लाइन जिसको बोलते हैं, कि ये जो भी प्रोड्यूस कर रही है अपने आप, ये अगर पर्टिकुलर प्रोडक्ट है, कोई पर्टिकुलर थिकनेस है, विड्थ है, कोई पर्टिकुलर ग्रेड है, वेदर इट इज ऑन PLDCM और कैल, ये अपने आप ये मशीन में डाटा, मशीन रिमेंबर्स दैट। जब हम दोबारा कमांड देते हैं कि हमको ये फीड, डाटा फीड करते हैं कि हमें क्या बनाना है, ऑटोमेटिकली वो पिकअप करता है अपनी इंटेलिजेंस से कि उसने पहले ये बनाया हुआ था, उसको यही बनाना है। दिस इज द मशीन इंटेलिजेंस। तो आने वाले समय में मैं ये समझता हूँ कि आज हम मशीन में डाटा फीड करते हैं, मशीन बनाती है, मशीन रिमेंबर करती है उसने क्या बनाया था, दोबारा जब बनाना है तो वो वही बनाती है, अगर हमने उसको ओके किया। आई थिंक आने वाले समय में मशीन हमको बताएगी, हमारा अपना इन्वॉल्वमेंट और कम होएगा, मशीन हमको बताएगी कि मशीन को क्या बनाना है, मशीन क्या बना सकती है, और हम उसके हिसाब से और कैसे बनाना है आने वाले समय में। तो इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि हम अपने को मेंटेनेंस प्रैक्टिसेस में, ऑपरेशंस में अपने को अपग्रेड कर दे रहे हैं। और इसके लिए हम आपको एक चीज और बताना चाहेंगे कि कोटेड स्टील में वी हैव स्टार्टेड लॉट ऑफ लर्निंग प्रोग्राम्स एट ऑल लेवल्स, जिसको भी आप लोगों में से समझ में आता है कि कहीं पे देयर इज अ शॉर्ट टर्म कोर्स और मीडियम टर्म कोर्स जो कैपेबिलिटी बढ़ाएगा in terms of learnings, company will be open to take care of such initiatives, और company will ensure that हमारे आप लोगों में एक capability development हो और learning हो, जो आगे आपके करियर के लिए भी और कंपनी के लिए भी, दोनों के लिए ये बेनिफिट करेगा। एंड मोर इम्पोर्टेंट इज कंपनी और आप, वो देश को भी हेल्प करेगा, देश को भी वो करेगा जब हमारे पास आने वाले समय में स्किल्ड लेबर, स्किल्ड वर्कफोर्स, जो आज चैलेंज हम देखते हैं इन वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज, वेदर इट इज यूरोप, यूके और जितनी भी वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज हैं, आने वाले समय में इंडिया में भी स्किल्ड वर्कफोर्स कि रिक्वायरमेंट जिस तरह से हम ग्रो कर रहे हैं और एक्सपेंड कर रहे हैं विल बी वेरी हाई। तो आई थिंक वंस अगेन फ्रेंड्स, सॉरी मैं आ नहीं पाया आज क्योंकि कुछ मेजर एंगेजमेंट है हमारा ऑफिस में, वरना आई वुड हैव लव टू बी देयर आप लोगों के साथ में। बट मे बी नेक्स्ट जब भी होगा, हम ये देख रहे हैं 6 महीने में डिसाइड हुआ है वेदर 6 महीना इज राइट पीरियड और 3 मंथ्स इज राइट पीरियड, वो आप लोग डिसाइड करेंगे। बट हम नेक्स्ट मीटिंग में जहाँ पे भी होगी आई विल डेफिनेटली बी अ पार्ट ऑफ दिस, क्योंकि हमारे लिए भी एक बहुत बड़ी सीख होगी, लर्निंग होगी। एंड थैंक यू वेरी मच। एंड आप लोग प्लांट विजिट कीजिए, एंजॉय द स्टे, एंजॉय द प्रोग्राम। एंड वंस अगेन थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर एवरीवन टू बी हियर। थैंक यू।
For your kind words and the suggestions you have given to the team, and certainly the entire locations and the team representing here for the purpose will demonstrate the expectations, and we will not deep down this drive. We will continue it and will try to explore more and more aspects of getting this initiative forward, so that we can certainly achieve the final objective of getting the reliability centered maintenance implemented at all the units and at all the processes. Thank you so very much, sir, for your kind words. Thank you. Next, I would like to call Mr. Pankaj Mahan, who is head coated operations and the man behind the conceptualizing this event, this conclave, and initiated that yes, now is the need for having the conclave for the maintenance team, whereby we can work together and we can take it forward to a next level. So hand over to Malan sir.
Thank you, Mahavir. I think Mr. Rathore, Mr. Mahendra has already put in place their expectations out of this program. And very well said by both of them that this is very, very important aspect of the entire value chain of manufacturing. I think one thing which I graduate from volume to value. So B2B is a journey that we need to track, and this is the thing which is going to make it happen. So when I say volume to value, whereas MP spoke about availability, that we would be making sure the equipment are always available and they are in turn giving the line availability. It is not this only. This is the value that each and every equipment is going to drive. When I say value, one is the intended use of the equipment. वो equipment हमको क्या दे सकता है, उसकी intrinsic value होती है किसी भी equipment. So we can extract that intrinsic value out of that and then convert into the line that we are making and we are running. And once we start thinking that way, I think that's something will take us to the next level. Mr. Mahendra mentioned about getting onto a global benchmark. This is extremely important for us to understand what a global benchmark is all about. Today, if I was to talk about some changing technologies, ZAM, zinc, aluminium, magnesium coating आ गई. JSW के पास नहीं है actually. We don't have that technology. Now there could be that we need to go and get this technology from somewhere. Second could be that we create our own mindsets together to go ahead with that technology. Vijayanagar is already going ahead with that. I'm very hopeful the current state of what I am talking to my colleagues in Vijayanagar.
At this location, so we have the privilege to.
Now, ZAM is not really an easy product for us to make. We need to understand our equipment challenges because we have to retrofit it to the lines that we are already having. Altogether, 22 galvanizing galvanizing lines put together in JSW fully. 22 लाइनें हैं हमारे पास. तो 22 लाइनें हर डिफरेंट कॉन्फ़िगरेशन की हैं, सबकी रीडिंग फर्नेसेस अलग हैं. कईयों के वेल्डर्स हो सकता है एक साथ जैसे हों, कईयों के एपीसीज डिफरेंट होंगे, कईयों के स्किन पास बिल्स अलग अलग होंगी.
कितने व्यूअर्स हैं?
143. मैं छोटा सा एक एग्जांपल ले रहा हूँ आज सुबह या कल का. यहाँ पे galvanizing line 3 CGL3 है. There was a pot change over 2 days back, and we had put a new sink roll assembly over there. Rolling में बैठे. There must be a technical reason to this, and that's the kind of reliability that we are talking about. While there is a loss of production of a couple of hours or whatever it is, those hours are really important for us. Sarah ji ने बताया कि 7 मिलियन टन की हमारे पास इंस्टॉल कैपेसिटीज है, put together many lines, galvanizing, galvanum, and the finished good, capacities. चाहे वो annealing है या color coating है, and हिंदुस्तान का बाजार 8 मिलियन टन के आसपास है. 7 मिलियन टन की हमारी कैपेसिटी, 8 मिलियन टन का बाजार. And this is a downstream business. और downstream business तभी चल सकता है जब वो customer centricity की तरफ जाता है. And I was talking to Mr. Rao. I said downstream business should never be compared with any industry companies. It should be compared with Hindustan Unilever. आप लोगों को मैं बताऊँ कि मुझे मेरे पास बाकी लोकेशंस का डेटा नहीं है. BTK के बीच में ही अगर तीनों लोकेशंस के बीच में देखा जाए 2000 से ज़्यादा रंग हम लोग कोड कर चुके हैं. बहुत सारी पेंट कंपनियों के पास इतने रंग नहीं होते. तो which puts us under that kind of a customization that we are offering to the customers. उस तरह के इक्विपमेंट्स की सेंट्रिसिटी इतनी इम्पोर्टेंट हो जाती है किसी भी स्टील कंपनी ने नहीं किया. मैं अपने आप को टाटा स्टील से कंपेयर करूँ या किसी और से कंपेयर करूँ पॉसिबल नहीं है. मेरे को डिफरेंट सोचना होगा बिकॉज मैं अपनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को दूसरे लेवल पे लेके जा चुका हूँ. मैंने आपको बताया कि हिंदुस्तान में सबसे ज़्यादा वेट वेरिएशन की बात करूँ, थिकनेस वेरिएशन की बात करूँ, हमारे पास JSW के पास 0.18 से लेके ये लोकेशन 3 लेवल की कोटिंग करती है. इट इज नॉट इजी. I worked in Tata Food Steel. They got a very standard product. But 0.18 से लेके 3 लेवल तक जाना with a different coating mixes, with a different grade mixes. Possibly we are the only company today in the country which has started making HSD grades and coating. Isn't it right? We have lot of first evers in the country today. But जैसे हम लोग ये अपनी product basket खोलते हैं, वो मशीन पे क्या impact कैरी करती है उतना important हो जाता है. And वो strength आप लोग लेके आते हो और आपकी teams लेके आती है. Customer centricity important है, but machine centricity उतनी important है at the back end so that we can manage that customer centricity. Now machine centricity in the changing environment जैसा कि हम लोग सुन रहे हैं अभी is equally important. Technologies बदल रही हैं machine. I was told, of course, there were practices like reactive में बोला अभी, then of course we got preventive schedules. We've gone ahead with a lot of CPM schedules, PPM schedules. But I am a big fan of reliability-centered maintenance. We need to go beyond this at a certain point in time. But now there are sensors, visualizations which have started happening in this field. Where all these lights can be on your mobile, alerts can be available on your mobile. Some of the repeating, your rotating trend or some part of the motor is going to give you a trouble, and there would be alert coming onto your mobile, which makes maintenance people smarter. In Bharat, Tarapur, Kalmeshwar, we've already identified 500 such equipments each location. So 1,500 equipments in the entire locations. Would it be going on to digitalization kind of stuff by the end of this quarter, possibly? I think they are about to place the orders, and again the order would be going, and the companies, I was told, infinite uptime, and they would be taking 6 weeks to hook up everything onto a cloud and alert from the mobiles. So which is going to be, give you alerts, which is going to be preempting you in terms of making sure that your equipment health is changing. Because आज भी डेट में मैन पावर like what we all know is a big skilled manpower नहीं है आज, and we all are struggling with that skilled manpower. And this is one small step. One, to share the learnings that we have acquired. Two, to make sure that we involve the bigger and the larger thing, because we got larger, younger generation coming into the workplace. And the mindsets have also changed between last 10 years and now. The workforce wants to be more smarter. Maintenance practices भी बदल दी आज. जब मैंने join किया तो I was looking into the maintenance cost. Possibly it varies from location to location, but the highest maintenance cost what put together electrical maintenance, if I was to say, I'm not adding roads and all that. It is hovering around 454 rupees a ton. एक लोकेशन का एग्जांपल ले रहा हूँ, 454 rupees a ton. Is it a big thing in terms of the overall conversion cost? Maybe no. आज अगर मैं conversion cost की बात करूँ किसी भी लाइन की, जब galvanized लाइन की बात करूँ, this would be hovering close to 89,000 rupees a ton. And small fluctuations because of gas prices, power prices, and all that. But 8 से 9,000 रुपया per ton और 450 रुपये की maintenance cost, which is nothing, 35%. But this 5% maintenance cost got an immense potential to delay the products if it is not managed right. There are a lot of repeat issues. When I say repeat issues, repeat failures of it. That gives us a sense, possibly something at times we are missing either at a resource level could have a competency issue, we could have a right spare availability issue time. We normally do a lot of regards when we run out of spares in it. So that is something which I would request all of you to deliberate in the right way next 2 days and start preparing the chart in a way so that spare availability all across the 9 locations can be shared to each other. And we also cut down our maintenance cost. आज अगर कपोली में कुछ पड़ा है स्पेयर, हो सकता है कि मेरे को महाराष्ट्र में रखने की जरूरत है, कपोली को नेक्स्ट हो. Even if I push a car to Kapoli, 2 hours can this place. So is case in Tarapur next door. And I am sure each of these spares, when I really look, this is the cost, which is on consumption basis, 450 rupees per ton. But on inventory basis, if I really look something which is lying in the store, which is and something which is lying on the lines, that is huge, huge. That runs into crores. And I'm sure all of you guys know after 22nd of May when export duty was imposed, कि हमारी अपनी installed capacity 7 million ton की है, 8 million ton का बाजार है, we are supposed to export a lot. और एक्सपोर्ट ड्यूटी आने के बाद our cost structure is come under pressure. 48% of the production of arsenic normally gets exported, which has almost come down to 28-10%. So the domestic में हम लोग ज़्यादा माल पुश कर रहे हैं, which means we have to be very competitive in terms of cost. जब मैं working capital entrapped working capital देखता हूँ spares में is huge. कुछ stores में दिखती है, कुछ लाइनों में दिखती है, तो उसकी comparability नहीं दिखती कभी मुझे कितने का माल पड़ा है. पर अगर मैं सारी लोकेशंस को जोड़ना शुरू करूँ तो बहुत सारी डुप्लीकेट्स मिलेंगी मुझे, overlaps है. And I think we should be transparent enough to help the cause of the organization in terms of bringing down these kind of overlaps in terms of spares. Equally important. And कभी-कभी आपको डर लगता रहता है मेरे पास नहीं होगा तो क्या होगा. ऐसा होता होगा मेंटेनेंस में खास तौर हो सकता है वो मुझे देगा नहीं. And that was the reason of bringing all together to break that ice. एक दूसरे के साथ कंफर्ट होना जरूरी है कि मेरे को जरूरत पड़ेगी मैं किसी को भी फोन लगाऊं इस कमरे में या तो इस कमरे में नहीं भी बैठे वो मेरे को मदद करे. And that is one of the objectives of this workshop. Let's break that ice across locations, across functions, and then get together and make sure whenever we are in need of a spare, we are able to give him or her a call and get our spares sorted out. I think when you actually end that conclave by tomorrow, you should have a right mix coming up in each KPIs. You know, when I really look into the KPI trees of maintenance, that is also varying all across the locations. Many KPIs, the maturity is good enough. Many KPIs are still in a very nascent stage. तो KPIs क्या होनी चाहिए, कैसी measurements होनी चाहिए, equally important. And KPIs should be going beyond the typical thinking of maintenance, MTTRs, MTTS, go beyond this also. One of the reasons when I was in one of my ex-organizations and I was having supply chain in that company, and I came running to my boss and said, boss, we have improved the attack. 3 घंटे में गाड़ी लगती है, लोड होती है, बाहर जाती है. Turnaround time was fast, and I was having supply chain that point of time. Ila, Labeto. कभी डोमिनोज में गए या मैकडॉनल्ड गए यहाँ मैं भी कभी गया बच्चों को गई कितनी देर में बर्गर सर्व हो जाता है टॉप में. I know it must be very important from your order to the burger is normally delivered onto your plate. Let's go and benchmark that. Now people may laugh and say कि what a steel plant has to do with the burger. That's the differential thinking, tangential thinking that we need to bring up. And then only the second thing which I was talking about from volume to value would be coming up. Otherwise हम लोग वही रात में रह जाते हैं volumes में. Volumes are important, but the value which you bring to the volumes that we are generating is equally important. So that is a very foremost expectation that I will put to the table. And this need should not die down. We are going to have an ethics committee done all across the businesses. Sanjay Sharma will be here tomorrow. Umesh Rai from BPSL. We are looking at others also. We will have our ethics committee done. So that this ethics committee will be running throughout the subcommittees, whatever you guys will form at the end of the 2 days. So there would be continuous reviews. What are we actually driving through the common interactions? What are the changes or the change management we are carrying out at various locations? So I'm sure this over a period of time, which could be 1 year from now, would benefit a lot of users and the workforce which we are adding on a daily basis to our plant. And since skilled manpower is a shortage all across the country, this is one way of addressing the very cause of the nation to build the skills. So all the best to you all and have a good time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much for your kind words and setting the context for the 2 days conclave. You not only set the context but also elaborated a lot of things, not only on the maintenance itself but the overall business. And certainly this team will try to fulfill the expectations, maybe sooner or later. We will try our best to deliver it in the best possible time. So again, thank you so very much for your kind words and guidance for this particular conclave. Friends, before going further to the content, we should have a discussion, or we should have a glance view where the nation is having, at what level nation is operating at, and within the nation what is the level at which the JSW is operating. So just few slides. This is the agenda of the 2 days conclave that is already available with you all. Now if we all look at the capacities, what the capacity India is having for GI/GL product. So 12.814 million ton is the capacity of India that we are, maybe the production may be less, but the installed capacity is of this level, whereby JSW is having 6.06, Tata is 2.08, MNS is 1.75, and others follow the trend. Coming to PPGL, we are having capacity in India is about 5 million tons. In this also we are leading. We have our capacity is 2.3, about 2.3 million tons, and then Tata is 0.57, and then AMNS. So this JSW, Tata and AMNS are continuously in the same series, and we are the leading manufacturer. This is the capacity of the tin plate, close to 1 million ton capacity we have. With JSW we are leading with 0.62 million ton, whereas the Tata is 0.37 or 0.38 million ton. CRCA, about 11 million ton capacity we have with us in India, whereby JSW is having 3.72 million ton, Tata is having 2.65, and SAIL is having 1.91, so on, so forth. So this is the trend what the India is having. Now coming to JSW, as I told that JSW is having 6.06 million ton of GIGL capacity, and this sunburst chart reflects the bifurcation of the capacity, whereby CGL4 of Vasind is leading at 0.55 million tons, and rest lines follow. So this the chart itself depicts what is the capacity of individual line and where the line stands in terms of capacity. This is for PPGL against 2.29. If we look at it, Vijayanagar CCL is 0.3 million ton, having the highest capacity, followed by capacities of Vasind and Kalmeswar line. One more line will be added in coming time is Rajpura, that is still under erection. So this no sir, the width is different, the capacities accordingly are different.
But one capacity is 45.9.
No. These are based on the nameplate capacity that has been in the technical contract. So this is based on that. This is for 10. Then we are having 0.5 million ton at Tarapur and 0.12 at Rajpura. So 0.62 million ton. Now, so this what we have seen is the capacities of JSW. In JSW we are having huge number of lines. If we look at it, the mills, we have 29 mills. I am talking only of the wider mills having more than 900. So 29 number of lines we are having in JSW group for cold rolling process. And put together we are having about 10.55 million in capacity. You are looking at different blocks, though it is not possible to ideally synergize the lines, because any two lines cannot be compared ideally, because either the product mix that is being produced, the resources that are being applied, the culture of that area, or the product quality that is expected out of the process are not remain the same. But yes, for the reference, for the benchmarking purpose, we can take a clue. And these are the combinations. If we look at the 6 high mills, they are more or less same in terms of thickness range, and speed may vary, but not very substantial within certain range. So these are the lines which can be compared when we benchmark internally within the group of JSW. Similarly, for galvanizing line, we are having total 24 galvanizing line. 2 galvanizing lines are not operating as of now. One is at Babal, other is at Sambalpur. So 22 lines are operational out of 24. The similar comparison or the benchmarking can be done among these lines. This is for color coating. We are having 14 color coating line in the group, having a variation in speeds, having variation in capacities, having variation in product expectations. Some lines are for appliance, some lines are for structure grades, some lines for different applications, and based on that we can synergize in 4 groups. So for how to benchmark our lines with the lines at other locations or maybe within the location, and accordingly if certain parameters or the KPIs which are getting deviated or are being monitored in different manner, certainly we can realign those KPIs, we can work on it, and certainly we can refine our working practices so that at least we can attain the benchmark set at the best line of the similar kind. Now these are the nomenclatures that have been used for different lines for further review of the performance. This, if we look at the mill performance line availability perspective of different lines, what we have already talked. TM5, though it is showing the highest availability, but if we look at the utilization part, certainly is less because the orders were not in line with that, and we are catering the orders from the PLTCM and the other mills. So this is the trend. Lowest line availability, if we look at it, is Babal mill. Where is that? The highest we can say availability is TM2 of Tarapur. This is for FY22. FY23, the data are also on the screen, whereby we can compare that how to increase or improve the line availability of those lines where they are lagging, or we can identify the reasons because of what those availabilities are less. We can pinpoint the issues and can put efforts to plug those issues so that we can enhance the line availability. This is utilization as I was talking. So Khopoli mill is having 84%, 84.36, whereas the TM5, as I told at Tarapur, is having lowest because we are using, this is remain our last option to operate that mill because the demand is catered from the PLTCM and other mills. So this is the trend. The top is FY22 and this bottom is FY23 till September H1 we are talking. Similarly, these are the delays of mechanical. If we look at the line wise, when we look at the graph in FY22 or 23, BPSL lines are performing extremely well. One is really they are performing well, or there might be a different practice of booking, that in toto we need to interact, we need to debate what the procedures or what practice of booking the delays are there at different locations, so that once we come at par, then this results may get affected or may retain. And we also, if really those lines are performing well, other locations need to take inputs from BPSL so that the other line performances can be improved. These are the from electrical side. So phenomena is more or less same. The pattern is more or less same. This is regarding hydraulic oil consumption of the mills. Different line. If we look at BPSL, the oil consumption is least. Even if we FY23, if we talk about, the consumption is in 2 digit. Whereby, if we look at the Kalmeswar mill or Khopoli mill, they are in 4 digit. So the purpose of this conclave is how we can improve upon wherever we are lagging, and we can get the input from the outperforming units. The team from the location is available here. This is PLTCM performance. If we look at the line availability, Tarapur PLTCM is 70% in last year and 75%, 68% this year. When we look at the utilization part, Vijayanagar PLTCM 2, that is having 92% utilization in FY22 and about 92% in FY23 as well, whereby the utilization of other PLTCM even at Vijayanagar and at Vasin and Tarapur need to work how we can attain the level or how we can enhance it, or we can also get into the details of 92% utilization, what content it had. Yeah, so we can devise an optimum level that from existing level where we can achieve. This is performance of the delays of PLTCM at different locations. This left side is mechanical, then at the middle is electrical, and the last is oil consumption. If we look at the oil consumption part in both the years, Tarapur PLTCM has come down to 910 per month. This is consumption. Whereas still we need to work at Vijayanagar and Vasin PLTCM. There are possibility to have improvement in terms of hydraulic oil consumption. So what are the area and what are the solutions to reduce the oil consumption, certainly we need to work and take efforts to get the benchmark with the best unit. This is for CSD performance, the lines across the group. If we look at the utilization part, Vijayanagar CGL1 has been quoted as 98.5% in FY22 and 99.12% in FY23, which seems to be non-feasible, but still, once the data has been received, we need to go into the details, what it contains, and if it is actual, then certainly the other units where the utilization is lacking, we need to work. This is utilization, not line availability, we need to see. So, any shortfall on account of raw material shortage or purchase orders shortage will be accounted here. Where in line availability, that has been omitted because that has been considered as a equipments are available, but because of the RMS or because of the lack of orders, we are not able to operate the lines. This is delays. If we look at again BPSL, Kalmeswar CGL1 are performing than Vijayanagar CGL1, they are outly performing as compared to the lines at other locations, even at Vijayanagar CGL2 and CGL3. Similarly at Vasan CGL4 and Vasan CGL3 are the key units where the substantial work is to be done to enhance the line availability. This is for the electrical. The pattern is more or less the same. This is hydraulic oil consumption. If we look at Vijayanagar CGL1 is zero hydraulic oil consumption, means we can say this unit has been declared as a dry unit. Whereas at other areas, the hydraulic consumption, even at Vijayanagar CGL1, if we look at FY23, which was zero in FY22, has gone to 2000 liters per month in FY23 H1. So we need to work, means the purpose of showing all these slides is to know exactly where the locations or the units at the locations are standing, so that we can benchmark, we can identify the areas at the location or the units and can work on to get the best out of it. Yeah. This is color coating. Whatever color coating lines we have, the utilization of the availability of the color coating line at Bawal is 95.52 in FY23, whereas color coating CCL1 at Kalmeswar is leading in FY23. Other lines follow. So after having a deliberate debate with an open mind and identifying the area of working, certainly we can improve the line availability or the utilizations of the other units. This is utilization part. As I told, the Bawal CCL and then the VSPL Sambalpur is 89.44. The other lines follow because if you look at it, there CCL1 of Kalmeswar was having a highest line availability, but the utilization is less. Means that line is being not operated on account of either orders or raw material. So the difference, both the differences have been shown. But yes, still variations are there, line to line, location to location, and we can work for further improvement. This is from the delay perspective, mechanical delay in FY22 and FY23. So the trend is in front of you, and certainly with all the data, all the statistics, we can understand our positions and we can work on for further improvement. This is electrical delays unit wise. This is hydraulic oil consumption of at respective units. So if we look at Kalmeswar CCL3, because this is a newly commissioned, but Rajpura CCL at 40 liter to that of Kalmesur CCL2 is at 600 liters. Similarly, Khopoli CCL at 455 with reference to Rajpura CCL 35. So likewise we can compare. It doesn't mean that we need to come to 35, but yes, presently how fast we can achieve, what best we can achieve in the available resources and practices, and how we can improve the practices to bring it down. This is ETL. In ETL, if we look at the availability of the line, Tarapur was 90% in FY22 and 91% in FY23, whereas Rajpura was 73 in FY22 and 73.75 means 74% in FY23 H1. Similarly, if we look at the utilization of Tarapur ETL was 78% in FY23, whereas it was 73% in Rajpura. This is from the delay perspective for Rajpura and Tarapur. Hydraulic oil consumption, if we look at it, Tarapur is coming out about 90 liter or the 100 liters, and Rajpura is about 400 liter. So how we can bridge this gap, how we can come closer to this, we can work on. So this was the basically inputs before starting our core content on maintenance perspective, whereby the best practices of every location and the opportunity for improvement from all the locations would be shared, would be discussed, interacted, and we will certainly be in position to consolidate all the action points at the end of this session, and certainly team can be made forward, but we should place all action points, list out all action points, what is to be done and what would be the target, so that this would be one of the takeaway over and above what Samalhan already explained, that our key objective for the future. And at the end of tomorrow's session, we would also be launching Apex committee, that inputs have already been from all the locations, and that Apex committee will not be the Apex committee like safety, it will be the Apex committee for the enhancing the performance of the units. So whereby the task force would be there, task force leader would be there, convener would be there, and chairing committee would be there. So that we will launch by end of this conclave. Thank you so very much. We are having tea waiting for us before we start our core area of presenting best practices and area of concerns or opportunity for improvement. Thank you so much.